So let's now continue. Kanina pinag-usapan na natin ang mga issues and concerns on gender and development, at gusto na nating mag-attribute ngayon doon sa ating mga programs, projects, and activities na maaaring ito'y yung 95%, bahagi ng 95% no, ng ating budget, aside from those 5% na nilagay natin sa God plan and budget. Kung naubos natin yun, na mailagay doon sa ating God plan and budget. So, ang una nating gagawin basically is to have a proposal. Whether yan ay program, project, or activity. So, proposal. At dyan natin ipapasok yung mga gender issues and concerns na yon, o kung may mga issues and concerns kayo sa division level or sa school level na gusto ninyong i-include dyan, ipasok dyan sa ating proposal para ma-address, matugunan ng isang gender issue or concern. So, napakahalaga ng proposal dahil ito ang gagamitin natin, for example, sa pag-attribute. No. So, itong ipipresent ko sa inyo, ang tingnan lang natin dito ay content. Kung iba ang inyong parts ng inyong proposal, ang format ninyo, so basta ang titingnan lang natin dito ay yung content at paano natin siya i-attribute. I-attribute natin siya, ilan ang points. So, let's start with this one example. A school-based project proposal for school year, ayan, nakalagay dyan, the reproduction of modules for learners, halimbawa yung isang eskwelahan. So, nagpaalam ako dito na gamitin lang as a sample, no? Okay. So, tuloy tayo. May sentence summary siya. Anong nakalagay dyan? The project will provide printed gender-sensitive modules. Andyan agad. So, kung meron ng mag-attribute, makikita ka agad. So, the project will provide printed gender-sensitive modules which can be used as materials for learning in times of pandemic. Kasi itong nakalipas lang na pandemic to. It provides an opportunity for 434 male and 484 female. Ito na yung sex disaggregated data. Ilang male and female ang magbe-benefit sa project na ito, sa activity na to, sa program na to, for example, na nandito sa ating proposal. So, 434 male and 484 female learners who will benefit from the project. Also, this project will give the opportunity for both male and female learners to have an access of quality education provided by the Department of Education and to continue their education even in this time of pandemic. Modules should be systematically distributed and retrieved from the learners following the scheduled day and time and health protocols to safeguard people, teaching and non-teaching staff, volunteers, and parents who will be involved in the reproduction, distribution, and retrieval of the educational materials. Distribution and retrieval of printed modules will be done in school. So, sa bahaging ito, gusto kong banggitin, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-attribute kung hindi stated yung mga hinahanap sa attribution later on. Hindi tayo pwedeng mag-assume, no? Baka sabihin kasi natin, syempre, kapag nilagay mo dyan ang mga learners, meron dyan ng male and female. Hindi ganon. Kung hindi stated dyan ang male and female at walang numero, for example, sa sex disaggregated data, hindi natin mapapataas ang puntos at syempre yung attribution. Kung kalahati ba ng budget or 25% ba ng budget, 75% ba ng budget ay attributed sa gender and development. So, next, meron silang project summary. Name of the school is the only school that caters caregiving strand here in Marikina. So, it needs to provide those caregiving modules by its own. Also, number of modular students continue increases due to the problem of internet connectivity. So, we decided to give focus on this to make it as a project to provide the necessary numbers of modules for that school. Okay. The objective of this project is to make sure that learning remains free and unhampered from 434 male and 484 female learners of that school. As technology and internet connectivity remain a problem for most students, ayan, that school will be providing printed module materials to be used by the learners for their distance learning. A printed SLMs, which is child-friendly content. Ayan. So, kung may mga kailangan pang i-check dyan in terms of grammar, no? Ayan, bahagi ng proseso, inyo na lang i-develop. And gender-sensitive. So, all modular students of that school will be provided with self-learning materials. The SLMs will be distributed to parents before the start of each quarter, following the scheduled date and time per grade level to avoid overcrowding of parents, guardians in the school. For students whose parents are not available to get these from schools, they can send any representative, but he or she should be provided, o meron pa sang he or she, should be provided with authorization from the parents. Accomplished activity sheets from SLMs will be retrieved by teachers from parents. Parents will have to submit the activity sheets in schools. A school will provide a pigeonhole or box where parents can put the answered activity sheets. So the project shall be for 1 school year, starting on the month of June, ayan, and ending. Tuloy tayo. This project has an estimated cost of 560,000 pesos yan. This covers the reams of long bond papers for photocopying the modules of junior and senior high school. So, ang contacts, ilagay nila dyan. Background. Problems have been arising as to how students who do not have stable internet connectivity will have access to education amidst this pandemic. Ano pa ba? Meron pa ba silang binanggit dyan on gender? Yan. So, tingnan natin yan. So, self-learning modules are self-contained. Ano pa? Meron pa ba dyan? Ayan. So, yan ang tinitingnan. Dito ang mga sex-segregated data, lagi nilang binabanggit. Yan dyan. So, project objectives. Tingnan natin kung meron dito ang mga gender issues ay matutugunan dito sa bahaging ito. Kasi dapat makita na yan dun pa lang sa rational at saka dito sa project objectives, for example. And then, strategies kung ina-address yung mga gender issues and concerns na yun na na-identify. So, education is the single most important means by which individuals and society can improve personal endowments, build capacity levels, overcome barriers, and expand opportunities for a sustained improvement in their well-being. Our project focused on the following objectives. So, this project will allow learners, both male and female, ayan, nakalagay nila, to continue learning and to have access to quality education even this time of pandemic where face-to-face teaching and learning are not allowed by the government. So, mga ilang buwan na ang nakalipas kasi niyan. So, to make sure that learning remains free and unhampered from 434 male, siguro ito ay 4, no? And 484 female learners of that school. To provide a gender-sensitive self-learning module for 918 learners who choose modular distance learning. So kung titingnan mo, nandiyan yung sex-segregated data at ang mga terminologies na gender-sensitive. Kaya dapat ang modules ay i-check din yan. Siguro may mga indicators kung talaga ang isang module ay gender-sensitive responsive. So, andyan ang project methodology. So, designing. Sa methodology kasi meron sila dyan ng writing, ng validation. O, alam niyo yan. Production and reproduction, distribution, retrieval. Ayan, na-consider din ba dyan ang gender? Checking, feedbacking. So, then breakdown and task estimation. Ayan. So, ayan. Project deliverables. So, andyan yung deliverables, description, draft of the modules, validated draft, printed materials. Andyan ang detalye. So, tuloy tayo. Ang cost, andyan. At saka sa baba naman ay yung mga, yung proponent at saka yung principal. So, nakita na natin yung sample proposal at ngayon ay tumuloy na tayo sa pag-attribute ng proposal na yon. So, isa lang yun, ang ginawa nila ay tungkol sa module, gender-sensitive modules, no? Kasi kanina nakita natin ang issue doon ay andyan ang biases and stereotyping in terms of gender. So, itong kanilang pamamaraan sa pamamagitan ng proposal na to ay ma-address yung ganung issue, di ba? So, isa-subject na natin ngayon yung proposal na yon sa paglagay ng rating. I-rate na natin siya ngayon gamit itong box 12, no? Actually, mahaba kasi ang God attribution pag uusapan natin yan, pero doon lang tayo sa basic lang muna, sa mahahalaga, no? So, sa box 12, itong ginagamit natin for God checklist for designing and evaluating an education project. So, basically, meron yan ng dimension. Dito yung mga tanong para makita natin kung gender, sensitive, or responsive ang isang project na isa-subject natin for attribution, project, program, or activity. And in terms of response, meron tayo dyan ng no, sorry, partly yes, at saka yes. Magkakaiba po ang points niyan. Makikita natin later on. And then, sa bahaging ito, halimbawa, for number 1, ito total mo yan. Dito mo ilalagay sa box kung ilan ang nakuha dyan sa number 1. Kasi may mga sub-questions pa yan dyan. And then, bakit ganyan ang nakuha niya? Result or comment? May comment ka sa bahaging ito. So, kung makikita nyo po, ang pag-attribute ay hindi lang nangangailangan syempre ng tao. Well, basically, andyan ang God focal point system, para tingnan ito, no? And then, of course, aside from that, kailangan sila ay na-orient din kung paano ba ang mag-attribute at saka yung proseso. For example, paglagay ng points, and then, medyo madetalye po ito, Madetalye ito. Mas maganda kung yung mga kasama natin sa God focal point system ay mga taong medyo madetalye, hindi naiinis sa mga detalye kasi technical po, madetalye. Kaya kung makikita din natin sa totoo lang, hindi ganun kadali ang trabaho sa gender and development. Pero sa may budget na, of course, ang dami-daming mga basihan ng mga international instruments, mga national instruments, and organizational instruments that we have, mga laws, mga kung ano-ano pang mga documents na kailangan aralin, para ma-manage ang maayos ang gender and development implementation sa isang division o kaya sa isang school. So, dapat willing na matuto kasi ang daming dapat pag-aralan. Yan ang totoo. Aside from, of course, may budget at malaki ang budget. Not just a 5% if possible, but the whole 100%. So, it's challenging. Kaya nga, sana dumating ang point na ang time na meron talagang tao na ang focus niya ay yun lang, kung seryoso tayo sa pag-implement. Kasi kung ayan ang trabaho natin, God focal person tayo, pero ang dami pang ibang mga trabaho, mukhang hindi natin matututukan ng maayos. So, tuloy na tayo ngayon sa dimensional question and then response, score, and then result or comment. So, let's start with project identification and planning. Yan. Meron dito ang 1.0. This is about the participation of women and men in project identification. May participation ba ang men and women dyan sa pag-identify ng project? Ang maximum score dyan ay 2 for each item or question. So, that's point 67. So, makikita natin dito na sa bahaging ito, ito yung expected score natin. So, dito makikita natin pwedeng 0 kapag no. Pag partly yes, that's 0.33 at kapag yes ay 0.67. Yun ang mataas. So, sub-question 1.1. Has the project consulted and involved women in the problem or issue that the intervention must solve and in the development of the solution? In-involve ba natin o tayo lang ang nag-isip tapos gagawa natin ng proposal pero hindi natin tinanong ang mga posibleng involvement siguro lalo na ng mga beneficiaries, no, na men and women, no? Did we consult them? So anong score natin dyan? So sasabihin natin, bawal mag-assume, kailangan talagang andyan nakalagay sa proposal. Doon sa proposal natin kanina, nakita ba natin doon? So kung meron, may puntos yun, no? 0.67 kapag yes. Kapag partly yes, that's 0.33. Kapag no, ayan, tingnan natin, no. 0 yun. Okay. 1.2. Have women inputs been considered in the design of the project? So, ganun ulit. Possible scores. 0, 0.33, and 0.67. So, ilagay mo yan dyan. Base dun sa proposal na halimbawa kanina na ating binasa. Ano ang inyong rating? Then, lalagyan natin dyan ng points at saka yung comment dito, no? Or bakit natin ni-rate siya ng ganon. 1.3. Are both women and men seen as stakeholders, partners, or agents of change? So, nakita ba natin yan doon? So, kung meron, that's 0.67. Oh, just the same kung partly yes, that's 0.33. At kung wala naman ay 0. So, let's now proceed to number 2. Collection of sex disaggregated data. Ayan. Ang male and female natin. Sabi natin kanina, ilan dyan ang babae, ilan ang lalaki. So, collection of sex disaggregated data and gender-related information prior to project design. Bago pa i-design ang project, kinuha na ba natin ilan ang babae at lalaki dyan? Has the project, o etong possible scores daw ay 0, then 1.0 kung wala, 1.0 kung partly yes, at 2.0 kapag yes. Has the project tapped sex disaggregated data and gender-related information from the secondary and primary sources at the project identification stage? Or does the project document include sex disaggregated and gender information in the analysis of the development issue or problem? Rate ka na dyan. 0 kapag wala, no? At 1.0 kapag partly yes, and 2 kapag yes. Let's proceed to number 3. Conduct of gender analysis and identification of gender issues. Possible scores, 0, 1.0, and 2.0. Has a gender analysis been done to identify gender issues prior to project design, or does the discussion of the development issues in the project document include gender gaps that the project must address? Kinandak ba natin ang gender analysis? So, it's a tool actually. So, siguro ibang session ito, may ibibigay ni ma'am in charge of our gender and development. Ito ba ay i-conduct natin in a separate session ang gender analysis? Usually tinitingnan ano yung involvement dyan, gaano ka-involved dyan ang babae at lalaki, and then pagdating naman sa access ng babae at lalaki at saka sa control. Ayan. Kasi kapag nakita natin na hindi pantay o masyadong malayo ang involvement, ang access, ang control ng babae at lalaki, baka may makita tayong gender issue dyan. Ayan. So, let's proceed now to the project design. So, gender equality goals, outcomes, and outputs. So, dun ba sa ating proposal, makikita ba natin yan dun sa goals, outcomes, and outputs? So, maximum score there is 2 for each item. 4.1, the project objectives explicitly refer to women and men as students, parents, teachers, or administrators. Ang possible scores dyan ay 0, 0.5, or 1.0. 4.2. Does the project have gender equality outputs or outcomes? Ayan. So, ang possible score din ay 0, 0.5, and 1.0. So, sa nakita nating proposal kanina, ano ang score nyo doon? Ano ang rating nyo doon? Let's go to number 5. Matching of strategies with gender issues. Possible scores, 0, 1.0, and 2. So, do the strategies match the gender issues and gender equality goals identified? That is, will the activities or interventions reduce gender gaps and inequalities? Ayan. Ang mga strategiya ba, no, ay nag-match para i-address yung mga gender issues na na-identify or hindi? Okay, let's now proceed to gender analysis of the design project. That's number 6.0. So, maximum score dyan ay 2. Okay. So, 6.1, gender division of labor. Maximum score there is 0.67 for each question. Itong 0.22. Let's go to 6.1.1. Are families in the target community reliant on the work of girls or boys for income? If so, will flexible education schedules help females or males fit in their other tasks? So, may tinutukoy ba dyan tungkol dyan? Kapag yes, kapag no, or kapag partly yes, lagyan natin ang scores. 6.1.2, does the project offer opportunities through curricula, instructional materials, role models for expanding roles of women and men, girls and boys at home, and the community, economy, and society? Ang possible scores ay 0, 0.11, and 0.22. So, ano ang sagot natin dyan? 6.1.3. Has an assessment been made of the education and training needs of both females and males? Possible score 0, 0.11, or 0.22. 6.2, access to and control of resources. Ayan, yan pinag-uusapan natin kanina sa gender analysis. Maximum score ay 0.67 for its question ay 0.22. 6.2.1, does the project ensure that the opportunities for training and scholarships that may be provided are equally accessible to women and men, girls and boys, to different categories of females and males, rural, urban, ethnic groups? Possible scores ay 0, 0.11, and 0.22. Tuloy tayo. Madetalye, no? So, 6.2.2 is information about educational opportunities readily available to females and males. And yung mga possible scores. Next, have all methods of education delivery been considered? These are the possible scores. Constraints. 6.3.1. Has a project addressed any time and distance constraint so that girls and boys could attend class? So, tingnan natin yung nature ng proposal natin. Mukhang mag-a-address ito dun sa example na ating kinuha o binasa kanina. Has the project considered the financial cost of participation that may restrict attendance of females or males? Meron ba ng ganyang component yan? Okay. Let's now proceed to 7.0, monitoring targets and indicators. So, kung na-include na natin yan doon sa proposal, nakita na natin yan doon, pupunta tayo sa monitoring, targets, and indicators. Mga possible scores nandyan. Mga tanong, does the project include gender equality targets and indicators for welfare, access, consciousness raising, participation, and control? Examples of gender differences that may be monitored. Ayan. So, net enrollment or school participation rate, passing rate for female and male students dito sa mga dating mga assessment ba to? Participation in training, similar project activities by type of training or activity, employment generated by the project. Kung meron na mga ganong components. 8.0 on sex-segregated database. Does the project monitoring framework or plan include the collection of sex-segregated data? And then resources, maximum score, andyan din. Mga sub-questions. Is the budget allotted by the project sufficient for gender equality promotion or integration? May mga possible scores dyan. 9.2. Does the project have the expertise to integrate GAD or promote gender equality and women's empowerment? Or is the project committed to investing project staff time in building capacity for integrating GAD or promoting gender equality? And last, if I'm not mistaken, relationship with the agency, GAD efforts. Yan, may mga possible scores dyan. This is in terms of collaboration for sustainability. Do we move? Do we work? Do we implement GAD na tayo lang, or do we collaborate with other agencies for sustainability? So 10.1, will the project build on or strengthen the agency, whether PCW government's commitment to the advancement of women? Ayan. Nandiyan ang mga possible scores. Does the project have an exit plan that will ensure the sustainability of GAD efforts and benefits? And 10.3, will the project build on the initiatives or actions of other organizations in the area? And then after that, i-total nyo na po ang scores at ilalagay sa bahaging ito. Ngayon, kung na-total nyo na yan dyan at nailagay niya dyan sa score na yan, pag-usapan na natin kung ano ang kinalabasan. Umabot ba yan ng 0 to 3.9 o kaya 4.0 to 7.9 o kaya 8.0 to 14.9 o kaya 15.0 to 20? Ayan. So, ano ang mangyayari kapag natapos na natin, na-total na natin yan? Yung ating proposal, tiningnan natin, ni-rate natin. Lumabas na, pasok lang siya dito sa 0 to 3.9. So, anong interpretation yan? God is invisible in the project. Wala daw ng God sa project. So, proposal to be returned. That's below 4.0. Sabi, God is invisible in the project. Ibabalik yan. At walang attribution na magaganap. Zero or no amount of the program budget for the year may be attributed to the God budget. Sorry. So, kaya napakahalaga talaga na makita diyan doon sa proposal. Kasi kapag hindi nakita, hindi nabasa, hindi pwede siyang i-attribute. Lagyan ng points. Next, kung pumasok siya ang score sa 4.0 hanggang 7.9, anong interpretation dyan? Proposed project has promising God prospects. Proposal earns a conditional pass, pending identification of gender issues and strategies and activities to address these, and inclusion of the collection of sex-segregated data in the monitoring and evaluation plan. So, proposed project has promising God prospects, conditional pass. So, magkano? Kung umabot yan ng 500 plus thousand, 25% of the budget for the year of the program may be attributed to God budget. So, isasama mo na yan ngayon doon sa iyong report at the end of the year na itong program na to, project or activity ay 25% God attributed. Oh, di ba? Tataas na ngayon ang inyong accomplishment report, yung utilization ng God, no, for that particular year. How about kung 8.0 or 14.9? Proposed project is gender sensitive. Proposal passes the God test, no? Kapag 8.0 to 14.9, proposed gender project is gender sensitive, and 50% of the budget for the year of the program may be attributed to God budget. So, kung 500,000 yan, ibig sabihin pwede mong i-report na attributed sa program na yan, project or activity, 250,000 of that. So, tataas ngayon ang iyong utilization. And then from 50 to 20, that's 15.0 to 20, proposed project is gender responsive. Okay? Yan. And 75% of the budget for the year of the program may be attributed. Hanggang ano pala yun? 15.0 to 19.9. So, 75% of the budget for the year of the program may be attributed to God budget. So, ang laki, no? At kung 20 naman ay fully gender responsive, that means 100% of the budget for the year of the program may be attributed to God budget. Saan nyo i-reflect yan? Doon sa inyong accomplishment report for the year. So, that's it. Diyan yung mga guide for accomplishing the checklist. Huwag na nating pag-usapan yan kasi ito na yun. Dinaanan natin kanina. Kung gusto ninyong aralin pa, no, probably you have to set time for that. Okay? Ayan. So, tapos na tayo mula doon sa rational, and then pumunta na tayo doon sa mga basis, no? Pumunta tayo doon sa mga gender issues and concerns, and then yung PPAs natin, example tayo ng proposal, ni-rate natin yung proposal mismo, at matapos nating i-rate yung proposal, nakita natin kung ilang porsyento ang pwedeng i-attribute sa gender and development na pwedeng ilagay na doon sa ating accomplishment report. At meron ako ng sample process dito. So, process flow. Hindi to perfect ha, sample lang to. This is just a draft. Ang ibig ko lang sabihin dito, pwede kayong gumawa sa inyong sariling division ng proseso, ng flow. Kasi ito hindi pa to na-finalize. No? Yan lang ang message ko sa bahaging ito. Pwede kayong gumawa ng flow para ma-attribute yung mga programs, projects, and activities. Actually, sa amin ngayon, lahat ng mga proponents ay nilalagay sa isang G drive ang kanilang mga proposals. Tapos nagtutulungan kami na ilagay na sa rational, sa objective, sa mga strategies, yung mga hinahanap doon sa box 12 para pag-rate natin ay mataas ang attributable points para sa gender and development. So, ito ay draft lang. Anong mga proseso na meron ako dito na nilagay ko dito? So, for example, step 1, proponent identifies the needs based on the available data. Kung gagawa tayo ng program, project, or activity at ilalagay natin yun sa proposal. What else? Proponent identifies the beneficiaries, recipients, of the program, project, and activity. It should be of the program, project, and activity, or the PPAs. Number 3, proponent consults the male and female beneficiaries of the PPAs. Kasi baka meron sila ng issues and concerns, gender issues and concerns dyan. Next, proponents tap the sex segregated data in the development of the PPAs. So, mahalaga ang sex-segregated data, no? Yung male and female. And then, yung proponent, number 5, proponent conducts gender analysis. So, paano ba kinoconduct ang gender analysis? Kanina pinag-usapan natin yon as to involvement, as to access, and as to power. Sino may control, male or female? O kung may iba ka pang tanong tungkol dyan. As to current involvement, access, and control of women and men on the PPAs that we considered. Next, proponent designs the PPAs with consideration of inputs from the consultation from male and female beneficiaries. Considers the sex-segregated data and findings from gender analysis. Yan. So, sundan lang natin yan. At kung meron pa kayo, syempre, yung sarili nyong steps. Number 7, Proponent states gender equality goals, outcomes, and outputs in the rationale and objectives as it matches strategies with gender issues. Next, proponent consults the GAD focal person to mainstream gender and development in the PPAs. So at present, nagtutulungan kami, tinitingnan namin doon. Meron din kami consultant, for example, from a private school at saka ako, magtutulungan kami, tinitingnan namin kung incorporated, integrated na, kung pwede nang, kung attributed na ang project na to, na makikita mo na doon ang mga gender issues and concerns. May ina-address na gender issues and concerns, for example. Or kino-consider yung mga sex-segregated data, nag-conduct ng gender analysis and all. Next, proponent coordinates with the budget and accounting offices for the availability of funds. Diba? Meron kayo ng ganyan. Kasi kung gagawa tayo ng ating PPAs, may pondo ba? If fund is available, proponent submits the proposal to SDS. Next, SDS approves or disapproves the proposal. So, kung in-approve, implement ang susunod. Kapag hindi naman, so wala tayong implement. If approved, proponent implements the PPAs in collaboration with the other stakeholders. Next, proponent monitors the implementation of the PPAs if it responds to the stated GAD mandates, issues, and concerns stated in the proposal. Next, GFPS meets as a team, and do the PPA's attribution with the proponent. And then, proponent files the attributed proposal using Box 12 for GAD attribution, including the related documents for submission to COA. Actually, on my part, nag-coordinate ako sa accounting, sa budget, at saka sa COA para sa proseso na to. At tinanong ko, ano ba ang hinihingi ng COA? Well, basically, yung GAD plan and budget, yan ang ginagawa natin at the start of the year. At saka yung accomplishment report, meron yan ng DepEd order din as to how to accomplish that form, and then ano yung content. And then syempre, meron nga tayo ng responsibility center na nagmo-monitor ng mga expenses or transactions related to gender and development. Ano mga binili, magkano. Pagdating naman sa attribution, syempre, ang mahalaga dyan, pwede nating ilagay siguro sa G Drive yung ating mga proposals. Tapos later on, hingi tayo ng tulong doon sa Responsibility Center. Alam yan ng budget at accounting. Meron ng joint circular, if I'm not mistaken, na inisyo ang COA dyan. Ano pa ba yung isang agency? Na i-monitor yung mga transactions related to gender and development. And then, yung mga proposals, yung mga ni-rate, yung ginamit nating tool, yung Box 12, ilagay na siguro sa isang G Drive para kung sisilipin or titingnan ng COA, dahil ang lahat ng inattribute mo ng mga programs, projects, and activities, ang lahat ng related doon, lagay mo na sa isang G Drive. Siguro may mga folders ka na dyan. At kung gustong tingnan kung talagang napatupad, na-attribute ng maayos, tama ang pag-attribute, pwedeng silipin yan ng Commission on Audit. At i-reflect mo na yan doon sa iyong accomplishment report. So basically, what? Meron ka dapat ng GAD plan and budget. And then, of course, yung mga PPAs mo, kung i-attribute mo yan, basically may proposal. And then, sa proposal, is stated doon ng mga gender issues and concerns. And then, pag in-implement mo yan, ano yung mga related na mga papers, mahalaga yun. Meron ng Responsibility Center which will check that one. Then, rate nyo with the Box 12. And then, nung na-rate nyo na, chinek nyo magkano ang na-attribute, and i-re-report nyo na yan, ilalagay nyo ngayon sa inyong accomplishment, GAD accomplishment report at the end of the year. And then yung mga files, related files, ay ready nyo lang, ilagay nyo lang sa isang G Drive para pag magtanong ang COA, ay pwedeng silipin. Bigyan nyo sila ng link para silipin kung tayo ay nakapag-attribute kung tama ang ating attribution at kung may hanapin pa silang iba. Sasagutin lang natin ang kanilang mga tanong. So, hopefully, ang ating session ngayon ay nakatulong po sa inyo. Ito ay mga samples lamang po as to process, yung mga documents, and then yung content ng proposal. But in general, depende po yan sa inyo, sa kung anong hinahanap sa inyo sa inyong division ng COA, no? Pero halos more or less, yun lang naman. God plan and budget, accomplishment report, at saka yung mga proposals at mga related documents. Box 12, no? Yung rated na, at saka yung mga related papers doon kung na-implement natin ang mga programs, projects, and activities na attribute. Okay? So, maraming salamat, and I'm now ready for the question and answer part. Thank you for listening.